Hi everyone, I kind of wanted to make an announcement, and it's sort of about the alloys that I'm making, or autos if you prefer that word. I want to talk about how I am working on Yuki's X4 now, and not everyone I know knows what that X4 actually means. So I'm going to go into a little more detail about it. So far I've always been trying to keep every act with a different name, or at least different feel about it, because it's not really re-recordings that I do. It's more like I improve my utus and I give them different act names, rather than just version 1 of Act 1 or version 2 or version 3, because I think it's easier to keep track of that. And, well, while I do not necessarily not re-record some sounds, usually it's more of a matter of just adding some sounds I notice I'm missing, or, stuff like that. And as a result, I'm now working on Yuki's Act 3 and 4 at the same time. And some people might not understand me here, but Act 3 is meant to be Yuki with Japanese syllables, but it's just Japanese. And no other languages are officially supported. I have some additional syllables, and you're free to use those and try to make her sing, well, a little better English than most Japanese YouTube can, or similar stuff. But it's not really like I have all these kinds of English syllables that you can suddenly use and wow. No, there's surely not enough for English. And talking about that, I'm recording her English now for Act 4. Act 4 is kind of Act 3, maybe some additional Japanese if I spot that some sounds are missing that I really think are necessary. But I'm mainly making Act 4 the multilingual act, and unless there are some new plans that I plan to make, I do not think I'll ever get further than Act 4, because right now I'm already set on not making triphonics, or VCV, however you want to call it, because, well, people have already asked me whether Yuki had a VCV act on a 5-star video, and to me that kind of proves she doesn't need triphonics. And, well, some of you might not be happy with this choice, because I know a lot of people these days are all, oh yay, triphonics, they're so much better. I didn't really agree, because, well, maybe for some slow songs, and in Tato's case I can understand you like the triphones, but Yuki doesn't need them, and I'm very convinced of that. So for Act 4 I'm recording at the moment English, and I have to admit, making English for her isn't the easiest task ever, because whenever I go and record sounds and try to string them into words, I really see that it's not that easy. And I'm actually thinking about adding more syllables with multiple consonants in them, rather than just, for example, the X or SDR, which I know you really need syllables for, but also things like ST and GR and stuff like that. So English is my main focus now, because Aside from Japanese, I think English is the most used for AE02. I know Spanish comes close, but at the moment I do not really have any solid plans for Yuki supporting Spanish officially. I'm also debating to add French because I think French is a really, really pretty language, and there's not a lot of AE02 yet that support it, so I really want to try that out. And lastly, and this is going to be my biggest challenge, I bet, is Russian. I do not speak Russian, I do not know a single word of it. But just like French, I quite like the language, and I really feel it would be, it would be a nice challenge because her Japanese is, well, almost done. Her English is also not quite easy, but I'm sure Russian would be one of the very, very big challenges. So, yeah, talking about challenges, I also have to add that for older languages, I might record. Dutch is on the might record list, but I think it'll be, well, it'll prove to be quite a challenge because Dutch has a lot of vowels. A lot. And thus it's almost impossible to make a voice bank of it really easily, and I'm really opting to make that one of the last voice banks, or rather one of the last options in the voice banks. Talking about these languages, you might wonder, but if you add all those languages, won't your download be incredibly big for Yuki's Act 4? Short answer, no. The long answer, I'm going to make all languages that are not Japanese for Act 4 plugins. What this means is that Yuki's Act 4, when you download it, it has only Japanese in it. You have to go and download the other languages she'll be able to sing separately. And I chose to do that because otherwise I get this gigantic voice bank of several hundred MBs, and I just do not want to put it onto people and they just want it for Japanese or maybe English but no other languages. And if you're downloading all that stuff and have like a file of 100 MB just for French, that's a waste of disk space. I have literally over 20 YouTubes on my PC, and I can tell you, just one is okay, but if you have like 20, that is easily over 1 gigabyte. And unless you have a really big hard drive, that's just not feasible, And even I have a pretty big hard drive and mine is already stuffed. So that kind of concludes Yuki's plans. I'm not sure what else to add. I might add a bit later another video announcement about AE02 and AE03 because I have plans for them, but not yet as I'm running late for art. Well, not art class, but it's somewhere I have to go to and I really cannot put it off any longer. So I'll see you all next time.